Welcome back to another review, this time for the anime The Two Perfect Saint, costed by my fiancé, and so to Another Kingdom. This one had 12 episodes and was airing in spring 2025. We have the synopsis from Annulist. Julia's family has produced saints for generations. It's no surprise that she is known as the greatest saint of all time, and set to marry the second Prince Julius. What no one expects is for Julius to call off the engagement, claiming that Julia's perfection makes her charmless and unlikable. To add insult to injury, Julia is packed off to a neighboring country in exchange for gold and resources, forcing her to leave her homeland. Despite bracing herself for mistreatment, Julia finds a warm welcome in her new town, where she puts her saintly abilities to good use, erecting barriers against monsters and curing epidemics. But even as she flourishes in her new life, her homeland is under threat of destruction. Now it feels like the cookie cutter beginning. You have like the main character who is like married to a prince or princess, and they get ousted and then thrown away in some kind of fashion. Now, I don't really have a problem with that. Sure, it's like a meh beginning. However, it's the starting point. You know, you want to start somewhere, you need to get the story rolling, fine. If it's like a one-off, I don't really care that much. Now, the problem is that Julius, the prince, is a vital point of the story, and he's the comic book villain, the old one. He's just bad. He's not really likable. He's not supposed to be. Yes. He's stupid. He doesn't really have anything going for him. He's not interesting in any way, shape, or form. Now he is already starting over the series on a bad foot for me. Now, in this world, let's go over that. First off, this series is finished. So the story that we get told is finished. So you don't have to worry about the second season. You don't get like a cliffhanger. This one is finished. Okay, cool. Already nice to have. Now in this world, what is happening is we have our world, and there's like a demon world we get explained, and monsters from this demon world more or less bubble up into our world. So to defeat them, you use the power of the Saintess to directly fight them, or to erect barriers to weaken them. So then you have an easier time to defeat them. You can send knights and normal soldiers, but they are a lot less effective than the Saintesses. Now that means, because those monsters are a threat the whole time, that you do not want to get rid of your Saintesses, because they are important. Now this country has two Saintesses, Filia, our main character, and her sister Mia, who is the second Saintess of this country. Now, getting rid of one of the Saintesses is already meaning you only have one left. If she is injured or she dies, you are more or less fucked. Now there is another Saintess, her master. I don't really know why she's not more prevalent, but she's also there. Fine. However, you probably still want to keep as many Saintesses as you can, because they are important. Now, the other country, you see the representatives, two blonde guys, their Saintess died, so they need a new one. So they came to this Prince Julius, and Julius was like, yeah, here, take my fiancé, because I hate her. Because he's just stupid. Now, our main character is very good at her saintess job, perfect, as the title states. Now she is very cold. She's not really used to show her expression. She's not really used to, be somewhat selfish or express her opinion as that much. She does, we learn later, but not as much. Now that is why people, see her as a little bit cold. Understandable. Now her sister Mia, she is the opposite. She's very open, she's very expressive. I would say Mia is like the sun and Filia is like the moon. So to have like a visual indicator for those two. Now, what we find out is Julius wants to marry Mia instead of Filia, which he could have just gone there and say, hey, I don't want to marry her, I want to marry the other one. Would have been fine, but no, he's like, fuck her, get her out of my country. Not really understanding that, but sure, he has to be bad. I don't know why these antagonists are written always so poorly, in my opinion, but sure. Now, we more or less follow the story of Ophelia in this new country. She's getting treated well, which is very perplexing to her because she is not used to that. We see her doing her job. We get this whole storyline. There's like a storyline behind why stuff is happening. The storyline is naturally centered around Filia. But I would say this anime, how it is presented and with Julius being so awfully written, I would have said this is like a meh anime. However, it does turn around a little bit because we have Mia. So Mia is also very relevant to the story, but I'm going into more specifics later on in like a little spoiler section at the end. So let's say story is fine, story is nothing special, the starting point is it's fine. Julius is just so bad, it just, in my opinion, destroys some of the story. The other characters are fine, they are all very positive, very nice, which is okay. You do see some of their motivations, which is nice to see. The action, so animation and stuff, it's pretty good. It's not bad, so definitely watchable on that part. Characters, I mean, our main two girls are pretty good. The characters of the other country are pretty nice. Julius is just destroying everything, in my opinion. I just don't like it's not that I don't like him. I don't like how these characters are written. They are so poorly written, in my opinion. I just don't like that. Especially if they are an integral part of the story. If they are only barely written in the first episodes and they're gone, fine. I don't need to worry about him. He is an important part of the whole story. Now, people on AnyList gave this one a 71, which you can't see because, trust me, it's a 71. My AnimeList gave it a 7.39. I would say it is a 7.7, 7 out of 10. Mostly because Mia pushed it up into a 7. It's fine. You can watch it. It's not bad. It's nothing special though. So if you want to waste a little bit of time, you like the idea, you maybe like Filia as the main character, you like Mia maybe, you could watch it. It's not bad. Now let's go into a little bit of a spoiler thing. So if you don't want to hear that, you have been warned. Spoiler ahead. Now the main point why Mia is pulling this one around for me is because she instantly is like, this is weird. Why is my sister going into this other country? And because Julius and Mia's parents, they are all they are all working together. They all did not like Filia because of reasons we find out later. and they all profit because Fia's parents, Fia's and Mia's parents, they get like some remunerations to, you know, just ignore that they sold off their daughter. And they tell Mia, hey, yeah, Filia wanted to go to the other country because they needed a scientist. And Mia was like, this is weird that she just went ahead and went to another country without, you know, talking to me, leaving me a message, saying goodbye. So she's already a little bit iffy on that story. Now later on, she finds out, hey, my sister got sold off. And she's not happy. So she is in that position where the Prince Julius, he's more or less courting her. Like, you are going to be my queen, my wife, and then become my queen, and you are going to be the, you know, on my side, looking nice, yada, yada, yada. Now she is naturally not really interested in that, especially after she finds out that Julius sold her sister. And she's planning revenge, which is already like, okay, cool. So you have like Filia, who is like the perfect scientist, and she's always working for the good of everyone, now treated well in this new country. And then you have Mia, who is nice and sweet and, you know, like a good shoes on the surface, but underneath she's willing to take revenge in her own hands. So she's plotting like revenge against Julius, which is nice. So we get to see how she's trying to get, you know, take revenge on Julius in the story. Now, the story we jump back and forth between different characters, mostly between our main character and Mia, to see what they're up to, what the development is, how Mia is going to try to take revenge, how Filia is going with her storyline. The main storyline is not really about her and being in the new country. It's about the Demon King who got not silenced, sealed. He got sealed like 400 years ago, typical story, and he's coming back. Now, seemingly, he in this fight 400 years ago, he fell in love with the scientist, and Filia supposedly has like a part of her soul in her, and that is why the Demon King is like, oh, you are going to be my wife. I mean, the story is just on the side, to be honest. It doesn't really matter. The overarching story is not that interesting. More interesting is how Mia is going to take revenge against Julius. That is the part that was really interesting to me, especially because the overarching story with the Demon King, Lord, whatever, that is solved in like 1.5 episodes. And it's not very well displayed. It felt really rushed, not that interesting. But I mean, fine. I was more interested in really the revenge story between Mia and the second prince. We also find out that Julius, he's just evil. He's like, hey, he's the second prince, meaning he's not even normally the one that would be king. However, he is like more or less terrorizing his brother, the first prince. So he's more or less has retreated into like an appendum little villa. He also seemingly is poisoning his father and trying to kill him so he can be king and then can take Mia as queen. It is very weird. He's also trying to get into Mia's pants more or less the whole time. She's very resolute in not letting that happen. And this is the only part that was really interesting for me, not the Julius part, but really that that we can follow her and her thought process in trying to take revenge for her sister. Which is, you know, that is this is the big problem I have in these stories. So you have Filia, who is a little bit stunted in her emotional growth, understandable. She is working hard for doing her saint job. Okay, this character totally cool. Now you have Julius, which is just evil, stupid, which is like the three combinations that are really awful. Because I can get behind an evil smart character, because he's evil but he's hiding his evilness. Like, instead of being like, Filia, I hate you and that is why I'm selling you, he could have been, hey, the other country is coming, they need a scientist, and I want to help the other country, that is why I'm going to let you help the other country. He could have, hidden his real goals the whole time, but he didn't. He's like openly evil. He's showing her he's evil. Her parents show her they are evil. That is always a problem. They are stupid evil, and that is always, in my opinion, boring. Especially if they are the focus of the story. Again, if there was the one-time stupid evil, fine. But they are a very big focus. Now, again, character totally fine. Julius, awful character. Then we have the two princes. They are understandable. They want the best for their country. They are doing everything they can for this new scientist. Totally fine. And then you have Mia, which is like a pretty good character in my opinion. She is a nice character. She loves her sister. She's in her shadow, in the shadow of her sister. But instead of being, my sister is better than me, I hate her, she's like, I want to be like her. I'm trying to my best to be as good as this perfect scientist. I'm not getting there, but I have someone to look up to try and reach. This is my goal. My sister is my goal. And she's always being like, I love my sister, she's awesome, and a good character. On the other side, as soon as she finds out, hey, someone has fucked over my sister, that person is dead to me. I'm going to do everything I can to take revenge on that person. Which is nice. She's also not like, which I would have also understood, she's not like brandishing a sword and trying to kill him. No, she's very intrigue heavy. She's planning and doing stuff. She's getting the first prince out of his villa to then, promote him, to then push the second prince off a little bit. She is very crafty. I like that. On the outside, she has her positive side. However, if you slight her, she is going to be negative. And she's going to be evil if she needs to. On the other hand, Filia doesn't have the... She is just good. She doesn't have an evil bone in her body. Which is fine, because we have Mia. That is why Mia is rescuing this story more or less for me. Not much else to say. Again, the main story of the Demon King, oh, I love the Saintess, it's not that interesting. The Demon King is also not a very interesting character. The end fight is not that interesting, mostly because it's like, Deus Ex Machina, oh, I get the Super Saintess power, I'm defeating the Demon King, yay, we defeated him. It is not even 1.5 episodes, it's like 1 episode altogether. They defeated him. And then we have like the rushed ending, which is like, hey, everything is cool, everyone is happy, happy end. I mean, another good part is that, the story's over. So you don't need to wait for a second season. You have your fill done.